on the right. In case of emergency, particularly a fire, do not take the elevator, please take the stairs. Any conversations, please take them out of the room so we can continue the meeting. And with that, we'll go ahead go around the table and introduce ourselves.
Julie Edelson Safford. Leslie Melvin.
Jane Birmingham.
Alan Bear.
Travis McAvoy.
And we have attending our meeting for the first time, our council member liaison, Ty Riley.
Nice to meet you.
You got everybody.
Yeah.
And we're thankful to have you here, and we look forward to having you at future meetings.
Oh, great, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay. So with that, we'll move on. The adoption of the January 3rd meeting minutes. Has everybody had a chance to review them?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'll move that we approve the meeting minutes for January 3rd as presented.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay. All in favor? Okay.
Hi.
And now with that, I will turn it over to Mark Blatt. We're going to start with old business. We have a sign application for 235 Fair Street. Sophia, you can sit here or there, whichever.
That's fine.
So I know the last time someone was here, it was too close to a building, to the building. So we received a variance for that.
Okay.
And
Now, does everyone remember what we were dealing with here?
Right, so they came to our October meeting, and it was the variant. You needed the variant
Yes.
because the monument sign is within 6 feet of the building.
Right.
And so you have the variance,
yes.
but now you're back.
So our commentary is to the design.
Yeah, so
I
I
believe
have a
the-
copy of that application if anybody wants to review it.
Everyone remember where this is uptown?
Yeah.
I'm not sure you were here for this meeting, Alan.
Oh, I do. Yes.
Okay.
Of course, yes.
Making sense now?
Yes.
All right, do we have any questions for the applicant? All right, I think we went through our concerns the last time you were here. I'll entertain a motion to approve as presented. Would anyone like to make that motion?
I'll make it, just a couple questions. And so it's black, there's no color, it's
No
a
color.
silver background.
Yes. It's wood though.
It's
a
wood.
wood sign.
Okay, wood sign. Okay, I'll make a motion. Okay. I move that our commission find the fact that the monument sign proposed for 235 Fair Street by Timely Sign, will have to enter by architect, if installed according to the plans reviewed at this meeting, is compatible with the character of the Fair Street Historic District for the following reasons. That this is a modern style commercial building with multiple tenants, that its proposed location at the south side of the Fair Street facade is unobtrusive, that this single 36-inch wide by 48-inch tall black painted wood and metallic silver metal sign, no, just wood.
Yes. It's painted silver.
It's painted, okay.
Yes.
Fine. Metallic silver painted wood sign. To be mounted on 2 4-inch square posts, which will display the names of the building's tenants and the address, is preferable than having multiple signs on this property. And that the proportion, location, design of this sign will not distract from the character of the building or the district. Do I have a second on that motion?
We do.
Okay, no, I'm sorry. Acknowledging that this applicant has obtained the necessary variance from the Zoning Board of Appeals to install a monument sign within 6 feet of the building, and based on preceding findings of fact, I move that this commission grant preservation notice of action to entry right for the sign as presented to us on this day, February 7th, 2018.
All those in favor?
All right.
Thank you.
You've signed it.
Yeah. Got it. And this should stay with
I'll keep this, and this goes to,
Sue, are you gonna take this away, Tom?
No, I think they're still going to the building department.
Okay, so this should
Yes,
stay
I don't
with-
have the files yet.
yeah, I'll print out another copy for my
Yeah,
record. You can-
this one's clearer than what we have here, so I think that's good.
Okay.
As you can see,
Okay, good.
so we would,
Yeah, for sure. Okay, next science.
thank you, Sarah.
So this, we now have, you said you just had one application here?
I do, but if I have another one, I'll wait.
There's another one we got with our packet for Antonio Delgado.
Sure.
Vanderplan, do you have that application?
I don't have the application with me, but I can cover it for Tyson, please.
Okay, we received it, so we can
Received
go
it.
ahead and
Sure.
do that tonight.
So Joe Biker, the timely signs, looking for approval on, so it's 254 Fair, is what it's listed as. I have this 30 John Street, it's a corner building, 18-inch by 93.5-inch metal pan sign. It's 1 inch deep, and there's 2 of them, 1 on each elevation. There's a sample color of the light gray.
Thanks.
Graphics will be flat graphics, black and red.
And it's a grayish background, right?
That's an example of the color. It's not the sheen though. It's gonna be, it's not gonna be a gloss.
Yeah, I think the reason I asked that, I think Tyson was at the Heritage Commission, and when I was I'm the secretary for them, when I was typing it up, the gray background, I think. Yeah, you
Yes.
had the gray background noted, so Sue did, so I made sure of that.
That's the.
So what was it at the Heritage Commission? It was red?
Yeah, I
There
think we
is
were
a
talking about this right here, this color gray.
Okay,
There were 2 variations.
Yeah.
okay.
Are these identical? They're the same dimension both places?
Correct, both elevations. So one on the fair and one on the John Street, or on the, yeah, John Street.
Yeah.
30 John.
Is that the actual color you're looking
It's the color, it's just not the sheen. This is a vinyl sample, but it's gonna be a flat finish or a matte finish. So there's not gonna be any sheen to it.
Is it replacing any existing sign? I don't recall noticing one
I don't believe there's an existing
I
sign.
think there's just been various other signs.
through the years.
Yeah, and this space has been vacant.
Been taken for a
Oh,
while.
wow.
Yeah.
I think there was a political campaign in there at one point for.
Oh, right. Yes, I know where we are now, thank you.
Opera House, right?
Okay.
All right, any
Oh,
further questions?
Another question, is okay, I think I just answered it. So the proximity to the corner is the same for both sides, so they really meet right at that corner. pretty
It wouldn't meet
close.
exactly, but they would be centered in the space, and you have the space on each side.
Yeah. Seems like an awful lot of signage to me.
They have 2 storefronts, and I think the signage regulation says that for 2 storefronts, 2 elevations, you get a sign per elevation.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, any further questions for the applicant? Seems pretty straightforward. I'll entertain a motion to approve as submitted.
Okay, I move that our commission find its fact that the banner sign proposed for 275 Fair Street by Kindly Signs on behalf of Opera House Kingston LLC, if installed according to the plans reviewed at this meeting, is compatible with the character of the Stockade Historic District.
Oops, sorry, wrong.
I might have another, no, it's a no. What was it? It's compatible with the character of the Stockade Historic District for the following reasons: that this is a commercial building with a storefront, that the 2 aluminum signs, each size 93.5 inches wide by 18 inches high by 1 inch thick with light gray background, will be placed in the sign band of either storefront, and that the proportion, location, and design of the sign will not detract from the character of the building or the district. Do I have a second?
Could I make a slight amendment suggestion to timely signs? I think it would be more effective if these signs would be pulled apart with a little more space to give a little more breathing room and not going up so tightly to the corner. If there's agreement on your end.
No issue.
Okay, do we have a stated distance?
You said centered.
We don't.
I would say centered in the available
I think.
space.
Centered
I thought you
vertically.
I mean,
meant-
no, centered horizontally.
Oh, horizontally,
Okay.
oh, okay, all right.
Look-
Yeah, so I think that will accomplish what you're looking for.
It would, yeah, but that's not what's portrayed here, so that's.
Okay, it's a bit misleading in
Yeah.
the picture.
Yeah.
So do I need to change anything to my motion?
I would ask that you add that it's centered horizontally.
Centered, okay. And that the sign be centered horizontally in the sign band.
Sure.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that this commission grant anti-division notice of action to Opera House Kingston LLC for the sign as presented to us and modified on this day, February 7th, 2019.
All those in favor? Aye. Approved, thank you.
Okay, and then
You want me to stay for Congressman Delgado sign?
you will do,
I will. I don't have my
the
Yeah.
other one is 256 Clinton Avenue.
Yeah, that's the Governor Clinton.
That's it?
Cheap, cheap.
We're proposing a 19-inch by 147-inch aluminum laminate sign panel, approximately 19.4 square feet to fill the existing sign space above Congressman Delgado's new office space here in Kingston. Colors are white and I say blue and red is what I've seen previously, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. With the House of Representatives seals as presented.
So it's white background.
I think it's white background.
And it will have a painted wood frame around it?
The frames are existing, so it's
Oh,
actually.
it's just gonna go.
Yeah, it fits inside of the existing frame. The frames have been dedicated to each individual storefront.
So the application says that the ink or the colors will be black.
Yes, that is probably accurate.
Okay.
I'm looking at a black and white.
Right.
I thought I saw blue. Maybe that was the seals.
Just black, Leslie?
Well, black with the House of Representatives seal, so the color here,
The House of Representatives, I
Yeah.
think, is blue. And
blue and it has,
Yeah.
you know, the red.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
I'd like to. Thanks.
All right. And so the color of the present frame is,
It's red. No?
Maybe that's something, is it
Yeah.
red around the outside?
okay, and that will remain unchanged, I'm gathering?
Yeah, that's outside of
Yeah, okay, and that, right, okay, you've got this awning beneath. Okay. Thank you, I needed that. All right, any further questions for the applicant? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve. You're on. We're on a roll, Marissa.
I move that our commission find the fact that the banner sign proposed for 256 Clinton Avenue by timely signed on behalf of Bart Guglielminetti. Yeah. If installed according to the plans reviewed at this meeting, is compatible with the character of the Sackett Historic District for the following reasons: that it is a commercial building with a storefront, that the aluminum sign size 147 inches wide by 19 inches high by 1/8 inch thick will be placed, and with the white background, will be placed in the sign band of the storefront. That the sign will be inserted within an existing painted wood frame, and that the proportion, location, and design of the sign will not detract from the character of the building or the district. Do I have a second?
Oh, I think you're going to win on this one, Leslie.
Okay.
Alan already
I'll
has
give it to
one.
her. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that this commission grant a preservation notice of action to the owner of the building for the sign as presented. She was on this date, February 7th, 2019.
All right, all those in favor? Aye. If I could have the application, please.
Thank you.
You. Okay. And is there any further old business?
We did old business and new business.
We are good. Okay.
Oh, I forgot to do the public portion.
Oh, whoops. All right, then I will take care of that. We're doing it a bit out of our classic order, but just let me take care of this and make sure we've got this covered. It is our usual practice to have time outside of review for comments from the public, not on any particular project, but on historic preservation issues within the city. Would someone like to address the board?
This is about the Kingstonian. Are you going to be discussing that at all, or should I wait till then?
Will you, it's for the what?
Kingstonian? It's just something I made. It's this page that I made. Should I? Yeah. What do you think?
Right.
Sorry,
Right.
Tanya.
Why don't you come
Oh,
up,
thanks.
Patsy?
Thank you.
Let me hand this
So-
off to you.
I just I have to press send, but I have an email for Tom, Patrick, and Suzanne with this attachment. And what this is it's the so when the Kingstonian folks came and did their PowerPoint, they referred to the actual floor plans, and so I compared them to the floor plans that have been submitted, and they're quite different, and they're more detailed. So I looked at it and I tried to figure out what were things that we could know for a fact from these floor plans. One of them is where the entrances and exits to the garages are, which I think is relevant. Sorry, Patrick. I thought I had more copies than I did, but I'm sending you the email with it so you can also have one for at home, or to look at in more detail. Because they're proposing to take a city street that was a historic passage to the train station, and the whole they were discussing at the last meeting the hallway between the two buildings that they call the atrium. This is relevant to the Historic Landmarks Preservation Commission. I put arrows to where all the entrances and exits of the garage are, and I think. And then I wrote at the bottom notes about what is to be noticed there. For instance, the garage where the Herzog's warehouse is doesn't have any internal ramps. It's got one entrance at each level of the 3 levels of garage. The other garage, the garage that's where the parking lot is now, that one has entrances and exits only on one level, and it's got ramps in the ramps inside. So in terms of thinking, why are they building on a city street? Is it really necessary? I think those things are important to note. So there you have it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I think we'll hang on to one copy of this for the minutes. Is there anyone else at the meeting who needs one?
Well, I'm gonna email one to Tom Tiano and Suzanne Cahill. So if you want to keep your copies, and do you mind if I email yours? Okay. Thanks.
All right. Great. Thank you kindly.
Can I suggest that you email it to Steve Knox?
Okay.
All right. Any other comments from the public on any historic preservation issues in the city? All right. I close the, do you have a question?
No.
So I'm going to close the public commentary portion of our meeting, moving right along.
So the question, we're on the subject of the Kingstonian. Do we need to agree to make a motion that yes or no, that planning board would be the lead agency for that project?
Have we
tonight?
been requested?
It should have gone.
We don't have a
to the
form.
board. It should have gone to the
Normally,
office.
they give us a written request, and so that's usually our typical trigger, but if,
I think it is there, I believe it's there.
I know that it was circulated, the request was circulated for the planning board to act as lead agency.
okay, this is pretty common, I think we faced this before. Does anyone have any questions on this particular process?
I mean, speaking for myself, I think it makes sense for the planning board to be the lead agency for the project. We don't have the staff to be the lead agency
Right.
ourselves. My only question, so when the planning board is the lead agency, they have to issue a declaration, like positive or negative declaration for seeker. That's their responsibility.
Yes.
Do other involved agencies have an opportunity to
So you don't have
issue, like, to bring concerns to them, like,
Yes,
that's within our purview?
correct.
So what's the best way for doing that?
If you're taking it from the commission has any specific concerns, you can forward them to me. If you want, the paperwork should be down at the building department. So, if you want to make that determination, because you only have 30 days from the day it was circulated, you can do that tonight. You can sign off on the planning board acting as lead agency, and then we'll proceed with the course of action. There'll be public hearings scheduled, and it'll be probably in March.
So you'll make that declaration in March?
Correct.
So our next meeting is March 7th. So we would have time to discuss if we want to, I mean, we can discuss today about the planning board being the lead agency and do that tonight. And then,
because you do only have 30 days.
And
Right,
when was that
and
submitted?
if we don't, we are presumed to have approved them. So I think it's best that certainly happened tonight.
When did the clock start?
It was, I don't recall the exact date, but it was after the last planning board meeting in January. So probably a couple days after that meeting, it went out.
and that declaration will only get made at a planning board meeting. It won't get made outside of a planning board meeting. I'm not sure.
All decisions are made at a planning board.
Okay, all right. In March, so at your March planning board meeting, that will happen?
That is what we are intending.
hoping for. We don't know how much is going to be presented and whether the board is going to be
Okay.
ready or not.
Right.
Hoping for it.
Yeah, and so that would be the soonest. And
Okay.
so I think that we have some specific concerns about design and the fit with the historic district that are fairly clear from sort of the heart of what we're doing. There is a visual component to the typical seeker review. We will want to make sure that the planning board pays attention to that visual addendum and that it's an important part of what they're going to have to pay attention to, and I think we need to draw their attention to that, because it's not normally part of what they have to think about.
Yeah.
I think that that's something that is strongly something we ought to bring to them.
Yeah, I would add to that visual character, impact on architectural resources. I mean, the Senate House is a significant building, so that will affect the visual character of the Senate House. The impact directly on buildings, because it will be tying into an existing streetscape. Archaeological resources. The site it's possible the actual stockade for which the district is significant, ran across this site. So if there's an opportunity to learn something about that during the project, it'd be nice to identify that as a potential.
And I believe that the portion of it that would be closest to the Senate House, I believe there was an archaeological dig there about
1970.
Okay, thank you. I know that run into this question before. I also recall that when Joe Diamond was here on earlier applications, he noted that things were left behind specifically at that site. So they are very, very likely to bump into something that's archaeologically significant.
Okay.
And that's something we're best positioned to warn them about.
Yeah, well, also, this site has been identified by the State Preservation Office as an archaeologically sensitive area, so,
Right, and also the soils are so unstable that that's an added issue.
yeah.
And I think Joe is also the archaeologist on the project, and Dennis Larios had indicated that below.
Joe Diamond is?
Yeah, that's what Dennis Larios indicated at the previous meeting when he was here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When they
So-
did the presentation.
Yes, he was.
He would have
That's
access to the old
continuity.
gig notes and be
Okay,
able to
great.
give much more detail than I can.
So what's
for
the
sure.
best way to compile
Yeah.
concerns and
So
get them? to
Do we
be-
just,
What's the best way to do it?
Email or electronically.
Okay.
so we can put, I think we'll put a discussion of the recommendation on our agenda for March. But we'll go ahead tonight and
Yeah,
approve the lead agency.
I think that
Is that
that's.
okay?
I think that's probably the most logical approach.
So that's soon enough. Okay.
Yes,
So
we
I-
are permitted to influence, to give our opinion to the planning board at any point in their deliberations. We
Okay.
want to do it early rather than late.
Right.
And, but the approval or our consent that they serve as lead agency is something that has a strict time limit tied to it, and it will probably be the end of this month. It'll be up, and so this is our one shot, and I think we ought to. Okay, I will move that we consent to the planning board's service as lead agency on the Kingstonian project. Is there a further title to it
No,
other than
that's
that?
it.
All right. I'll ask for a second.
Second.
Thank you, Julie. All those in favor? Aye. Unanimous. And I think that it is a good idea for us to mull this one over if we have a chance to drop by the planning office. I suspect they're going to be giving you more detailed plans as this goes along.
A lot of the information is posted online as
Yeah.
well.
Great.
on
I
the
think
city's-
the information we've already reviewed it be enough for the purpose of making recommendations, like, because we don't have to say it's definitely going to be a fact, it has a potential, so these are our concerns.
Yeah, and that's a reasonable way to frame it. This project is likely going to get tweaked a whole lot
Yeah.
in its progress. So we just want to make sure that our concerns are being considered as early in the process as possible, which has historically been a weakness for this board. So getting our description together of what we think is important, getting our description of the issues we need them to pay particular attention to that may be a little unusual for a planning board is a huge strength and something we want to let them know, great, go forward, yet when you're dealing with the visual portion of the seeker review, these are the important things you need to be balancing. The examples that come to mind are, you're absolutely right, each streetscape, the Senate House, there is a lot there to point out to them to be considered, and hopefully they will continue to give us the courtesy of showing up to discuss design details, and we would hope for that. All right? So I don't think we need a formal motion to put this on the agenda for,
Do we? No.
I don't think so. I think we simply.
Who's the person, who's going to do the agenda going for March?
Could we have an update?
That you?
Hi. We'd love this to be on our agenda.
Thank you.
I have a real sense of the meeting on this one.
So I guess that's a nice segue into talking about, the HLPC moving to planning department this month, sometime this month. And applications will just come to you
Correct.
until there's a administrator hired.
Right.
And that job has not been posted yet.
No, it is not.
Yay,
I'm
thank
working
you.
on it.
We look forward to this. We've been, in my tenure here, we have been under engineering, we've been under the building department. I don't think we've been under the planning department yet. Well.
And so at the meeting, the body that reviews job postings, that body is called
It's civil service.
The Civil Service Commission, yeah.
And this was on their last meeting, and they discussed, what the title should be and the position. And it was discussed at that meeting that instead of doing an administrator, it would be better to be a senior clerk because that job is safe from mayoral changes to the leadership. Correct?
That is correct, but that could be changing.
Interesting. Okay, so we don't
To be
know
more
the,
specific to addressing the needs of the historics and the heritage commissions. Because
oh, interesting. All right. Any sense of time frame for them?
I have till next week to put it together.
Okay. And then it goes back to their next meeting sometime later this month?
Whenever that is.
Yeah, okay.
Is there the possibility of having a kind of group workshop where we can start to sort of hear more about?
I think we're handling it internally right now with our executive director of civil service.
Okay.
Are you talking about the job posting or? So I was asking if there's an opportunity, since we're moving from the building safety division over to the planning department, if there's an opportunity to have a sort of meeting or a workshop?
There will be.
Okay, all right, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, and this is important to us because while you'll be the front end, enforcement still will remain with the building department, is my understanding.
One thing that I would like to do is ask if everybody could just give me, I have a lot of your emails and phone numbers already from other affiliations, but if you could just give me a list of everybody's named addresses, phone numbers, emails, so I can,
I sent that to you,
okay,
but I can send it to you again.
okay.
I have everybody for our commission.
Okay, that's all I need.
Yeah. Like I'll
I have a lot of
send
papers
it.
sitting on
Send it
my
to you.
Not to mention
I get a
8
lot
pile
of
emails.
papers.
Yeah, I'm in the thousands, I get lost. It's bad.
Emails?
Yeah, yeah. Us old folks never learned how to deal with all the extra stuff that comes whenever you forget to unclick that box. All right, so I think that'll be great. I'm really excited. Is there any other commission that has a similar issue with you being the front door and the building department being the hammer?
But that's not really accurate though, Mark.
Well, then how will we deal with violations? Through the planning department, through the building department? Where does this go? Our historic trigger used to be the request for a building permit.
But it's not always a building permit.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, enforcement is handled by my office. We prosecute cases, okay? Certain individuals under the code are authorized to, file accusatory instruments and, to do inspections and to bring the matter to our office's attention for prosecution.
So that would be the route. It would be to you, and any inspection that was necessary would be something that would be.
The policing is not done by the Corporation Counsel's office.
Right, but
Policing is still
the
done by
authorization, up till now, we have been back and forth. When we used to be under the engineering department, this was a huge gap. The engineering department never seemed to talk to the building department, And I just want to make sure we're not going to have a similar gap with folks in the planning office knowing exactly what's going on, but there not being any clear connection.
It seemed like there was an enforcement step before legal action that's often happened. And often, I remember Tom talking about having to do a follow-up to make sure that work was done the way that it was intended to be done.
And it
so
all
that,
depends on the nature of the violation and what provision of the code is alleged to be violated. And then that gets funneled through whatever department is, charged with that issue.
So we're
the
gonna
engineering
need-
department, there are circumstances where tickets are written by DPW. There are circumstances where tickets are written by the building department. There are circumstances where the violation comes in through Sue's office and she refers it to me. Sue currently administers her favorite commission, which is the tree commission. And when issues come up, her office initiates the prosecution. So it's
Okay,
not
so
as
this-
simple as enforcement is done by the building department.
In recent years, that's where we've looked to it. So we would start with your office and rely on you to
You're
refer
gonna
it
be
around.
the prime focus, the prime administrative office.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to understand.
And who's actually going to be authorized to issue the accusatory instrument is going to depend on the circumstances and the nature of the violation.
Exactly, and that will be, they'll be looking to your office for guidance on that. But we will be, when we see a violation or someone tells us about a violation or we see work done that is contrary to what was promised to us, we would start at your office.
Correct.
That's the key from my point of view, because back when it was under engineering, it seemed to start and end there and all sorts of
it
stuff
did seem
happened.
like it was helpful though when the building safety division went back after work was done and noticed that something was different, that would at least get filtered back here as opposed to waiting for a community member to notice.
Particularly
The
if
building
they're-
safety department is still charged with issuing building permits, and under the language of the code, they can't issue the building permit without the preservation notice of action. So it's not like changing the department that is administering this commission is going to change that aspect of it. The building permit still comes from the building department.
Right, I guess what
Yeah.
I'm saying is.
And they're still going to be going to visit and make sure. that the
Prior
work
to
is-
issuing the permit and prior to determining whether or not the work can proceed.
Right.
Right. So I'm just saying that if that information isn't funneled back here, then we would lose out on being able to have any kind of true follow-up. So,
We would have to rely on communication between planning and the building department for us to know. We got used to kind of having this straight connection into the building department because they've been helping us out now for the past almost dozen years, I guess. And so now I'm just trying to make sure that we know where to begin and what to ask for within the planning department because you're new to us. Even though we've admired your work for a long time. And we look forward to this. I know it can work. I just want to make sure that stuff doesn't fall through a departmental hole because I've seen it happen and I think I'm the only one here on the board who's been around long enough to have seen that happen. So we will be relying on you and you guys will set up your lines of communication as makes the most sense.
I already talk pretty much on a daily basis anyway.
I'm not shocked to hear it. You now may have a whole nother layer of stuff to talk about, and we look forward to that. Any other things we need to discuss on our new transfer to working with the planning department?
We will talk about that at the March meeting.
Sounds
Yeah,
great.
we
And
got a lot of ideas and very excited about, a holistic look at how all of this happens.
we already discussed some of the timing issues that I think this is going to be a huge help on. Would it be useful for anyone here to show up at a civil service meeting, board meeting, or talk to anyone in that office?
don't believe that that's,
Is that useful or is that counterindicated? We've never had this before. The whole idea of a dedicated staff person is so exciting. We're having a hard time knowing how best to approach it.
Is the question whether or not there is a forum at the Civil Service Commission to hear your concerns about the job description? Because they basically follow civil service law and they're going to classify it as a,
Right.
as
We
one title
understand.
or another.
Do they need to hear what we're looking for in this job at all? Or is their classification, they just stare at the civil service law and there are 17 different levels and they have to decide which level it slides in at which point
More the
we say-
latter than the former,
Okay, all right, because I know there are very rigid
yes.
sort of levels that they have to pick. And we can't change that, except to perhaps describe what we would be relying on this person to do on our behalf, from what we can tell. Or should we be talking to you about that?
that's what I'm preparing for civil
Okay.
service right now.
All right,
And generally, the department head makes a request to the Civil Service
Correct.
Commission for a position that is going to be under their supervision in their office. And that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about Sue as the department head who is going to be supervising this particular employee in her office. And she's the one who would present that to Civil Service based on what she,
If it
yeah.
makes curiosity, I have shared the description of the preservation position
okay.
with
with
Suzanne,
Sue.
so she has that.
Okay,
at her disposal.
and that may be helpful in deciding which level it's going to actually get slotted in, though that is clearly outside of our expertise.
Tanya?
And I know that it doesn't have to be, it can be in a position that's already like a senior clerk or a clerk, or it can be one of those titles that's already, there may be a test to take, an official title that's already set. But the communications director, that was, and the director of the Arts Commission, or however that one is put, those were special ones that were written up special for those jobs. So it's not, it doesn't have to be one that's already.
Right, and I'm not
Yeah.
sure those are civil service positions, though.
They did go through the Civil Service Commission.
Okay.
So they can't have specialized education requirements?
Yes.
That's good to know.
All right. So Sue is our point of contact if any of us have a brainstorm on what might be useful to the Civil Service Commission. All right, any other issues to come before the board?
It's that time of the year to do our CLG, Certified Local Government Annual Report. It's usually due in late March. So I would like to propose that I draft the report, given that I have all the records, and share it with the commission at our March meeting for review and approval.
I think that's an excellent timetable. I'd support that. I think we have a sense of the meeting on that.
Okay. So we'll I'll send you the contact list again tomorrow and the couple things that we have for the agenda. A few things we have for the agenda.
And I would like to thank you for taking on the whole sort of secretarial role here. You did, and it was really good of you to step up. I remember at the time when we had no support and it sort of rotated around the commission. That became a really interesting exercise. Your steady hand on this has been definitely noticed, and I am grateful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we all are.
Anytime we
All right. If there's nothing else to come before the commission, I will entertain a motion to
I
adjourn.
actually just want to mention
Okay.
one thing. The date for Ulster County Historical Society is doing a Preservation Trade Expo. I
Oh,
mentioned it at
yes.
the last meeting, and the date has been selected, the location as well. So it's going to be March 30th. It's going to be at the Marbletown Community Center. It's going to be free for attendees and participants. And so we are now looking, I'm on the board, we're now looking to invite preservation societies as well as tradespeople. So we can have a booth if we would like to have a booth there. And
The commission,
the commission could, if they wish to. So that's free. Within the next month, we'll be trying to confirm.
March 25th?
March 30th.
30th.
On a Saturday. It'll be, the date, the time is still being sort of finalized.
Is that a Saturday?
It is. Oh no. We'll just have to do it again.
Well, we did it at the Earth Fair.
Yeah.
We have all our materials.
Yeah, it'll be something between 10 and 3 or something like that.
Okay, so we can get into those details at our next meeting. I think it's something that ought to be on the agenda.
Okay.
Because I think it would be great for us to have those kinds of contacts to be able to say, yes, there are 3 people who really know how to handle bluestone. There's all that.
I
would
think
be
we can
great.
only collect a list. We can't recommend.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely
So we'll
true.
just have a list and they can pick from the list.
Right, and typically we want a minimum of 3 in each category if we can pull that off. If that doesn't exist, well, we tell them so, but we want people to just be able to choose for themselves, but to point them in the right direction has been priceless for a long time on this commission, because no one thinks anyone can fix a wrought iron fence. Well, people really can, and some of them live here. So that would be great.
Thank you.
All right, on the agenda.
Yay.
We have our, let's talk about March.
Sounds good.
Sure you don't want to discuss anything now? Okay.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Would someone like to move we adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
All right, Julie. Do I have a second? All right, Kevin has gone for the second. All those in favor? Aye. Excellent. Thank you.